Welcome back to Living in Korea with Wendy Floor series. And this time we are going to talk about apartment rental. What are the things you need to do to know? And then the moving company. Choosing the right moving company for you. But before we proceed, the usual spiel. If you're new to my channel and or if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And then don't forget to click the notification bell so you will be updated each time I upload a new video.
Hello, this is Wendy.
So, apartment hunting is very, very important. Here in South Korea, you can see a lot of budongsan. When you see budongsan, check the screen for the Hangul characters. Budongsan, that means it's a real estate company. It's a real estate office. If you're adventurous enough and you know Korean, you go inside that realtor company or office and tell the realtors what you need. The area, the kind of apartment that you want. Number one. That's number one. Number two, you could do online apps. There are apps like Zigbang, Dabang, and Peter Pan's. Check in the screen those apps that you can see. I haven't personally experienced doing the online apps, but other people did. So they have English, and then you can see there the area that you want, the kind of accommodation that you want, apartment, office style, one bedroom house, which is very rare. The third one, which we've been using, and the most secured way, convenient way as well, is having a realtor. So in our case, as I mentioned in the other video, we have a realtor that have been handling our apartment searches, doing these things. They are accredited by the company where my husband works. I tell them the area that I want, the kind of apartment that I want, and within budget, within the budget that the company has provided, they are going to look around. And as soon as they find the apartments that we might possibly like, we went to these apartments. So I have to check each one of them. Prior to getting this apartment now, I went to 4 apartments. And this is the last one. We found this and I like this for the view. I think I have a lot of videos showing the views of the apartment, of this apartment, just magnificent views. Anyway, so there, that's how I got to choose this apartment. Now, the very, very important thing that you need to decide on is when you transfer apartment, you need a moving company. There are many kinds of moving companies here. You can choose to, one, they will just transfer your things. So you have to pack your own things, you have to unpack your own things, and they will just pick up these things and put your boxes, in the next apartment. That's one option. Number two, you can choose a moving company that does everything from packing your things, they clean your house as well, to unpacking in your next apartment. That's what we chose. But we had to do 4 companies before we chose the last one. Why? Because there are many things to consider. The price, the inclusions in the package. So as soon as you were able to get the contract, your moving date, you've got to find the right moving company for you. These moving companies should be available on the day that you must transfer. Moving day is very important because here in South Korea, 1 day difference would entail some monetary adjustment as well. So it was like this for us. I wanted to transfer on a weekend. Apparently, if I transfer on a weekend, our contract in the previous house ended on a Wednesday. So what was gonna happen was the previous house owner will refund the days difference, and we have to pay this advance 3 days to the next owner. Kind of complicated, right? So we opted to go on the exact date that the contract ended. So we had to make sure that the moving company was available on that day that we were going to transfer. That's very important. The price. Because we wanted the whole package, the packing and the unpacking. The first company who went to the house, because they are going to go around your house, check the things that need to be packed, things that you need to dispose of. The first company quoted us with 2.8 million. That was like a shock to me. I was really, really surprised. Um, so it depends. Apparently, it depends on the a number of things that you are bringing with you to the new apartment. We asked for another moving company. The next company quoted us with 2.4. The third company quoted us with 2.9 because the company said they are a company from Gangnam. It makes a lot of difference. Their company is based in Gangnam, and they will take care of all your things. Of course, I mean they all take care of our things, and we got this last. The very, very last resort we had was my husband had to ask his colleague for a recommendation. He was able to find this one that he used way before. So he went to our house, checked around, and he was expecting very, very few pieces from us. But he quoted us with a 1.8 million won transfer. And we were very happy. We were so relieved. But these are the considerations. One, the number of people needed. So all of them quoted us with 4 men plus 2 women. The woman needs for the kitchen and the clothes. I'll talk about the last one that we got. 5 men and 1 woman. That's still fair. That's still okay. So that's one factor of the price consideration. Second, of course, the amount of things and that they needed to transfer, that they needed to pack and unpack. Because you have to understand that for me, I'm not so particular with these things. I just packed the money, the vault, the personal necessities. Those are the things that I only put in one or two luggages, and I'm fine with that. All the other things, I allow them, I let them be. Because, they have their own system, and I admire the way they do it. They were very, very careful. They don't even want you to help. In my experience, they didn't want me to help because they didn't want me to mess up their system. Because it's like this, they have boxes and boxes and trays, and they label that. They have their own way of labeling. They know that this one belongs to this part, this one belongs to room number one, to room number two, to toilet number one, toilet number two, you know. And you'll see, my experience is they put it in the kitchen, where in the cupboards where they got it before, because usually the style here is just almost the same. um, the bookshelves, they put it in the same room, in room number 1 or room number 2 where they got it. So I had to be there because I have to tell them. I had to be there because, of some questions they needed. I had to be in the next house because they have to ask, oh, which is room number 1, which is room number 2, master's bedroom, all these things. Aside from that, they do everything on their own. There are moving companies that charge a lower amount of fees because they just leave all your boxes behind and you know, you do it yourself. That's one option you could have. Um, Another very important factor is the floor of the apartment where you live. So in our case, we live on the 10th floor in the other apartment. So that's very usual. They only used one ladder. Apparently here, if you live in higher floors, they need to, of course, do two ladders. So there's a bracketing from first floor or second floor, third floor to the 13th or 14th floor. That's There's a corresponding amount there. From the 14th floor up to whatever floor, there are additional fees that you have to pay for the ladder that they need to use because they use this machine. It's very convenient for them to bring up and bring down the things. So you can see, I'll show you on the screen how they do it when they use the ladder. It's amazing. It's for me, I was each time I see a house transfer, I take a video or a photo of this ladder that they use whenever they transfer because it's just very convenient for us. Why we only paid 1.8, or why the moving company only charged us with 1.8 million, is because they gave us the option. Actually, they gave us the option to use or not to use the ladder when we transfer to the next apartment, because where we currently live, we are on the 23rd floor, very high. If we chose a ladder, we would have been charged over 2 million. They gave us a choice, ladder or elevator. We had to pay a certain amount at the apartment office. So we opted for that. We only had to pay 180,000 won for the use of the elevator because they had to cover the sides to protect the elevator. That's how they do it. And then, of course, the inconvenience because there are other people who might be using the elevator. So, anyway, that's 180,000. So, overall, we didn't pay 2 million. To be exact, we paid 20,000 less than 2 million. So that's a big thing for us because uh, moving houses is really, really stressful. And of course, it requires money. How do you money? It requires money. So as much as you can, do not transfer apartment. Is there anything that you wanna ask about apartment, moving apartment, or hunting for apartment? Put it down in the comment section below. Or is there anything that I miss about looking for apartment and about the moving company? Put it down below. I would really appreciate hearing from you. So that's about it for this video. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please subscribe and don't forget to click the notification bell so that you will be notified of the next video upload. And the next video upload will be about the actual move from our previous apartment to the apartment now. I'll show you some clips of how they do it and how they do it efficiently. All right? See you next time!